Today for Megan's Minutes, I am going to be doing an on the shelf for practical life. And today we're going to focus on care of the environment. So care of the environment is mainly washing things, which is what we're going to focus on today. So I just wanted to show you a few examples of things that you can use from around your house to keep your child engaged and help keep your house clean. So spritz bottles are always good. So if you have little ones like this, that's great. If not, you can use a regular size one. The child is capable of squeezing. And then if you have a little cloth, they can just, spray the table, they can spray the window, whatever it is. Maybe you want to have it be for anything, or maybe you want to have it something specific. Like this is actually for table spritzing. And so they wouldn't use this for window washing because we have a different one for window washing. But at home, you might just have one that's for everything, and that's okay. If you're doing it for windows, it's nice to drop just a little bit of vinegar in there. And it's also nice if you have a set of cloths. So maybe, in our environments, we usually have like color-coded cloths that go with each specific activity. For you at home, maybe you just have a basket full of different rags. You could get a big towel that you're not using and cut it up into smaller pieces, or maybe you just have a drawer where all of your rags live and that's where your child should go get it. So any options are okay as long as your child knows where to access the materials that they need. If you happen to have a squeegee, they love that, and this is what they use for window washing at primary and at the nest. So they just spray, and then it's really nice if they can cross the midline. So usually when we are showing any kind of movement, we would show left to right, and we want them to cross that midline. So they would spray and then cross, and then usually I would have a towel to dry. So I might do spray 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to wipe, wipe, wipe. So if you can show your child that once or twice, they'll be able to do it, and most of them probably already know how to do it from school. And then another thing that the children truly love is any sort of washing work. So I might have, in my classroom I have a basin that is for table washing, I have a basin that's for object washing, I have a basin that's for underlay washing, shoe washing. Everything has its own. But again, at home you might just have one basin that's for washing, and they can use it to wash anything, which is totally fine. One thing I recommend is with your sponges, just cut them in half. They'll last longer and they're easier for your child to hold in their hands. If you are having one of these kind that has like kind of the rough side on it, you want to make sure that they're using it on surfaces that's okay for. So like I wouldn't want that to be on like some of our like white tables that scrapes the paint off of it. But you can also cut that part off, or just if you're going to buy some, then you could do that. Another thing that they really like to do is use soap, of course. So you can have a little container of soap. You usually can get those like Dr. Bonner ones that are really little, or from the trial, or the little travel ones, trials I guess is what they're called. So you can use those and just do a few drops of soap in there. And then, or this is what I do in my classroom, I'll take a container with soap. I'll grab soaps from like hotels and stuff, so I have a lot of little ones at primary, but I didn't have anything here to use. But this is just our soap that's almost gone, so it should be easy to cut. And I'll just cut it in half and put it in the bottom of this little bowl. And then I have the brush. So what I show is that the soap always stays in the container, and that the brush goes over the soap. Okay. Another thing that you want to think about is, how is your child going to get water? Do you want to have to get it for them every time, or do you want them to be able to access it themselves? Ideally in Montessori, they would be able to do it independently and be able to access it themselves. We like to use things like this, or like the camper kind of water holders, coolers. put it on something low on the ground, maybe with something waterproof underneath, so that they can get their own water. So if this was like washing a table, I would have them fill this with water. You could even draw a line inside to show them where to stop. You're going to model putting the sponge in and squeezing the water out over the bowl, and then model getting the table wet, and put this back, show getting the brush wet, rubbing it over the soap. And then I like to show doing a circular motion across the table or whatever it is that they're washing. They love seeing the bubbles on there. And again, you're going to practice going left to right across the midline. So they're going to be scrubbing all the way across, again, all the way across and down the table. And then they will get their sponge wet again, squeeze, and work on removing all of the soap. And again, they're gonna wanna have access to their towels. So whatever that looks like for you, you can have them all in a basket on your shelf ready to go, or like I said, you can just have them wherever they live in your house and just show your child so that they know where they go. So there is some ideas around how to do care of the environment at home. A bucket or a basin, you can do any sort of table washing. A little spritz bottle can be great for window washing. If you have a squeegee, that's even better. They often have them at like the dollar store or grocery outlet. And then any spritzer just like for the table, that's a great way for the kids to help you clean up after dinner too.